What is the weirdest rumor you heard about yourself in high school? That I wore bicycle helmets when I drove my car. Do you? If they would have actually looked, they would have realized it was actually a helmet for riding snowmobile. He mows the lawn naked. Gym shorts and a tank top is not naked. Someone at my high school saw me walking to the end of my driveway to get the mail. The next week there was a rumor that I sat on my lawn all day listening to metal and hissing at cars. My mum had a seizure when I was at dinner with her after school. Her first ever. It was very traumatizing, etc. Anyway, I went to a Catholic school. So in the morning, they made an announcement about remembering my mum in their prayers. This was standard policy when family members of students were sick, injured or died. Somehow, a couple of girls interpreted this as my mum had died. They were really shocked that I was in school at all. So first I had to clear that up. Then, some ducking freshman girls decided that the actual truth was that I had killed my mother. They told a teacher they didn't feel comfortable around a mare near her. The teacher told them they were too dumb to exist and told me about it later in the day. So craziest rumor I heard specifically about myself was that the freshman thought I had killed my mum. A rumor spread that I had died in a car wreck. This happened while I was visible and in school. I would show up to classes and people would jump with joy realizing that it had been a lie. My friends were assholes. Sound like great friends to me. That I was a huge snob. I was amazed to hear it because I was massively shy with low self-esteem and terrified to talk to anyone. If you don't talk a lot, people may think you don't do so because you think everyone is not worth talking to. That's what happened a few times with me. Anyway. In middle school this one girl had a birthday party on a boat and invited pretty much every girl. I wasn't invited but I didn't care since we didn't know each other. Some girls who didn't like me decided to invent the rumor that I was having a birthday party on my yacht the same day as the other girl had hers. I still don't quite understand the reason for this rumor. My birthday wasn't anytime soon. I certainly didn't own a yacht. All they did was make me sound rich. That I was dead. I was on the corridor committee at school drawing up a code of conduct at the end of my 4th year. You can imagine how much tang I got at school, and the new rules were to be announced the following school year. But then I had to change schools at very short notice over the summer holidays and only told my socially isolated circle of friends. So the new school year starts and everyone gets the start of year assembly where they are told welcome back and to work hard, etc. Then they were introduced to the new corridor code TM. The head teacher reads off the code and says special thanks to list of people involved and Radigan, who sadly is no longer with us. And that's how my death was accidentally announced to the entire school. Someone started a rumor that me and my friend were gay for each other. And when there was a Instagram video of us messing around and lightly punching each other, the PTA had to ask if we were in an abusive relationship. It was very weird to explain that we were not in fact gay. And they didn't believe us until we said it like twice. They kept saying, "You don't have to hide it," and we were like, what the duck? He's a senior. I was a freshman. I get asked if I'm a freshman all the time. I'm 18. I have a master's degree and have been out of college for a while and am still mistaken for a high schooler. That I was a massive stoner who always smoked weed before school. 1. I never smoked before school. 2. The rumors started long before I even touched a joint. I had never even smoked in high school or drank for that matter. But I would have people asking me to sell them some weed after we graduated because their dealer had moved. And that is how I found that apparently I was a drug dealer and was high all of the time. Which was news to me. I went to a mostly white high school in Quebec while I myself am half black half white. I'm my school. If you weren't a purebred, inbred, French Canadian, the kids made fun of you. But they were also very dumb and the most clever rumor they came up with was that I had a big black big dick. I never denied it. Also they later started a rumor that I smoked a lot of weed which I did. They never really got the bullying thing down right. When I was in middle school, I was backed into this corner by this big bully. And he grabbed me by my collar and shoved me into this wall. Me, being as wimpy as I am, fruitlessly flailed my noodle arms at him. After being headlocked and many failed attempts to slam me into the ground, a security guard broke up the fight. A few days later, kids recognized me as that guy who fought that guy. Plenty of people told me I had gonads to fight him, even though I lost, and I think I gained some people's respect throughout the week or two. Everyone was talking about me. TLDR, duck you. Read my story. Apparently I held a coyote with my bare hands. That I was Finnish. I have no Finnish ancestry. Know next to nothing about the country. But people thought I was. Finnish them. I was a young Danny Glover who traveled to the future for a government experiment. There's a few but I'll stick with one for now. There was a story going around of the Lollipop Vandal where, due to school program holiday event, the teachers were handing out lollipops, the awesome sour blue pops, to their students. This mysterious criminal flew into a blind rage when he didn't receive his lollipop and kicked in a glass window up at the base of the theater building. He then fled the scene and is still at large. It was all over the school bulletin. In reality, I was sarcastically complaining and pretending to throw a mini tantrum. Leaned back into the window with my foot out to lean against it. And it shattered. To be fair, it was thick glass and I was a big boy. And it sounded like a gunshot right when everyone was getting out for lunch. I had a friend escort me away from the scene and then ran away until I realized I had glass in my foot and turned myself in to avoid further injury by walking home. One lunch hour I'd had enough of all the kids picking on me, so I just up and left. There was a really nice lady who was walking her dog beside the school and saw how upset I was. She stopped to console me and talk me down. After that, a rumor started I'd kicked her dog. Kids are pure evil. It was rumored that I was a playboy by some of the younger students in grades 9 and 10. This could not have been the more opposite because I was a shy and awkward geek who never went to prom. Somehow the rumor that my dad was a government hired assassin started to spread around the school because I didn't know exactly what my dad did when my friends asked me, and it didn't help that he was always out of town on work trips. It started out as a joke between my friends, but by the time I graduated, my younger sister was getting questions from people I had never talked to in my life. I went to a private Christian school for a year. Most of the people were racist as hell. And I got kicked out because I eventually got sick of it and beat the shit out of a kid. Two of my bullies also ended up at the school I went to afterwards. And they approached me and asked why I wasn't at the old place. I looked them dead in the eyes and told them I got kicked out for being a Satanist and a cannibal. And walked away. A week later, this guy I've literally never met before asked me if I could help him put a curse on someone, and I was confused as duck. A rumor went around that I was going around the school tearing downs for the anti-smoking club. I was pretty well known for being a cigarette smoker at the time. I actually quit a couple years ago. The office got word that I was doing this and started angrily demanding my presence in the office for it. Here's the best part, I wasn't even at school that day. Somebody misidentified the culprit and the office didn't even bother to check with the attendance office that I had been called out sick for mono for the past week. I thought the whole thing was hilarious. One of my best friends informed me that there was a rumor I was gay with my other best friend. In retrospect, I don't know that such a rumor actually existed. And I suspect the person who told it to me was jealous of my relationship with the other guy. In any case, it probably had the opposite effect of what was intended. I thought it was hilarious. And felt a flush of pride that I did anything worthy of rumor. A few years later, there would also be a rumor that I was dating one of the hottest, coolest girls in my school. I also did nothing to dispel that one. Finally, one I can answer. That I snorted coke from toilet seats. I had never done coke and have no idea who started this rumor. But I just want to know, why toilet seats? I was rumored to be that weird kid who thought she was a vampire. No, I did not. I was just in the middle of a very regrettable twilight phase and was going through some severe issues. I had my best friend tell me his mother was livid with me. I asked why and he told me that she had heard I'd asked a girl out to the prom and stood her up. At the time, I'd never asked that girl out. I'd never asked anyone out. I asked him to put her on the phone. I asked her where she'd heard the rumor. It was another mother. I called her and asked for the source of her news. It was the girl's mother. I called her and she said she'd heard from her daughter. I asked to speak with her. First I apologized if I'd done anything to upset her and asked about the situation. It turns out she'd been asked out by a young man with the same first name as me. No one in the rumor chain had clarified the last name. I apologized on his behalf and asked if there was anything I could to help her. She said thank you but no. I'm very energetic and should do sport but I just have no drive to, but apparently people said I can do a backflip and freshmen would hear about me in this small school and walk by and say do a backflip and I just stare at them while walking as they stand there. My friend started a rumor that I was a ketamine dealer in the 90s and had to work 2 jobs to keep the scene alive. Whatever that means, haha. And all ketamine coming through southern England is down to me. That I'm a stoner. I just had a difficult family life. So I would come to school tired, sleep in my morning classes, and I would devour my lunch. I've never once smoked weed up, but it still stuck for some reason. One kid asked to see my piece. Thought he was talking about my big dick. A group of seniors once asked if I wanted to hotbox in this kid's new Mustang. Had no idea what they meant. Shortly after I quit playing high school sports in favor of taking judo lessons, somebody started a rumor that I'd killed somebody in an underground fight club and was in prison. I missed school for 3 days because of an injury sustained in a competition that weekend. I got to school on Thursday and people were so shocked and afraid of me. I was so confused and a little hurt that nobody wanted to be near me. Once I found out why, I couldn't stop laughing about it. That my real name is Barry and I changed my name because I hate it. How the rumor began. Someone once overheard my friend call me Barry, which was part of a long, complicated inside joke we had about my dad. All it took was some random kid overhearing us and the rumor spread like wildfire and took on a life of its own.